Hello, hello, hello. Let me just double check. Yeah, we're good. All right. Well, we've had first, let me apologize for being gone for the past few days. We've had some personal stuff going on. I'm not going to get into it here, but just wanted to kind of discuss the markets, man. It's been a freaking brutal past few days. First thing I want to start off looking at is the market capitalization. What I've found is that this chart is just indispensable when it comes to understanding the broader health of the cryptocurrency market. So, what I wanted to pull up here, I guess the 3 month chart is a good thing to look at here. We're sitting today, now it says, let's see, 83.1 billion. Um, we're actually up from our interim low of, let's see if I can find it here, 78.3 billion. Yeah, 78.4 billion. And that was just yesterday, right? The 12th? Is that today? Oh, it is today. I don't know why it's saying that. I guess that was maybe at the start of the day. We were down at 80,000, 78,000, somewhere around there. Oh yeah, that's around midnight UTC. But regardless, this is sitting right around the top of this last bubble. You see, we've got a whole ton of support in this area between, call it 77 billion and, yeah, 90 billion, 85 billion, right around there. Um, we've got a ton of support from this past bubble here. So, I mean, realistically, we could possibly see this correction last. And I've accepted that this is certainly a correction now. I was kind of in denial for the first few weeks, but yeah, we're definitely experiencing a correction in the crypto markets ever since the big old run up from about yeah, call it April, middle of April, all the way up until it started before April, but you know, we call the top at right around June 12th, June 14th. That was when we had the highest market cap, and also when Bitcoin, hit its top. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that we could see a little bit more correction over the next few weeks, even as far as 65 billion, or sorry, 60 billion. But I don't think it's likely, just considering how much support is in this area. Um, but anyways, moving over to take a look at the charts, and I'm gonna, we don't have anybody watching at the moment, but if you guys have any questions about any of this, please pop up in the live chat. I'm hoping to kind of have this more of a discussion forum and less of a me just sitting here talking to y'all. I'd like to do some Q&A if we can get some more followers. But looking at Bitcoin, now keep in mind this is the Poloniex chart versus the U.S. dollar. Um, One strategy that I've been using that's just been fantastic, especially in this correction, is catching Bitcoin at these tops and then selling off into USD Tether and riding it all the way down here to the bottom and then picking it back up. I've done this a couple of times now over the past few days, and like this road right here, if you do it right, that's a 7% run. You can do the same thing over here from, if you've been able to catch the top here, which, I mean, we do have this nice little 13 here, which, signified the exhaustion of this round, which, suggested that we might get this move down. Unfortunately, I didn't catch this whole move down. I did catch some of it, but this was a 15 percenter. Um, if you're having trouble finding trades because the markets are just correcting and you're not, like for me, I'm not working on a margin account right now. I'm not doing longs, shorts, I'm not doing any kind of leverage trading. I'm just buying coins and selling them. So if you're not operating on margin, when the markets are going down, it is extremely difficult to make money unless you're really, really good at playing these little bounces here. Um, and I mean, it's not hard. Like, hold on, where's my little price range? Here, let me just use the measure. If you can play these little bounces here, here's one for 8.5%. There's another one, theoretically you could have wrote it up from the 1 to the 9 here. These little, and these numbers I'm talking about, this is little indicator that I'm showing here. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This indicator is actually really great for judging market momentum. And if you'd written up from the 1 to the 9 here, you could have got yourself a nice little 6.63%. So like there is money to be made here. It's just a little bit harder than it has been. Whereas during the bull market that we experienced in the spring and early summer, it's like you could buy anything and hold it for 2 days and it would have gone up. That's anybody can make money in those kind of markets, but when we're in a correctional phase, it's a little bit more difficult. But looking at Bitcoin here, one thing I wanted to point out is we were holding this big ascending triangle here for quite a while. In fact, about 2 weeks, or not ascending triangle. This is a symmetrical triangle. But we had resistance up here and then support down here. So it was forming this triangle. But 3 days ago, we actually fell out. This little blue trend line here knocked it down beneath the support and basically made this triangle worthless. So what we're looking at now is this one here. We've got another descending triangle, which unfortunately is not a bullish pattern, especially in a correctional phase. What this is suggesting is that the sellers are gaining control of the price and driving it down, and the buyers are holding it up here around the, call it 2200 to 2300 range. The buyers are continuing to hold it up here, but they're losing power. They're not gaining any traction here. This is a bearish pattern, guys. Bitcoin doesn't look great at the moment, and I mean it's hard to say exactly what the reason is, but obviously you'd be foolish to not talk about the uncertainty surrounding SegWit 2x and the user activated soft fork. I don't believe that the fears are founded. I think basically I've been doing one of the things I try to do is on a daily basis keep an understanding of the debates and the controversy or whatever you want to call it that's going on in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin drives everything. When Bitcoin goes down, the rest of the coins go down with it. It's what you have to understand is that the majority of what's happening in the markets right now is all speculative. It's all speculative investment. So it's people like you and me, who are trying to speculate on prices. And before we have the kind of adoption where people are using these digital assets on a daily basis in their lives, um, speculation is going to be the number one driving force behind price action. So, with that being said, the uncertainty behind Bitcoin and SegWit 2x is causing people, speculators, to not go into other cryptocurrencies. They're going into cash. They're going into fiat, where they know that their money is not going to lose value on the on the like 30%, 20% in a couple days, like we've seen in some of these altcoins. Strat dropped 30%, 40% over a couple of days. EOS dropped, let's see, 10x one of the brand new ones that they just released dropped over 100% in a couple of days. You see, people are not going to hold these currencies when they're so volatile, especially in corrective markets like this. So Bitcoin is kind of what everybody looks to as a gauge of how healthy this market is. Um, during the strong bull markets, it does operate a little bit differently, or at least it seems to, in my experience, that in the strong bull markets, when Bitcoin goes down, it tends to go into the other altcoins and drives them up. But in these corrective phases, when Bitcoin drops a lot, it's too uncertain for the average investor. So they don't go into other cryptocurrencies and boost them up. They go into cash. So that's what we're dealing with, guys. The At least for the time being, Bitcoin and the rest of the coins, the altcoins, are tied together. So don't be under the impression that if Bitcoin's dropping $100, $200, that you can just put your money somewhere else in another altcoin, because it's probably dropping too. And let me show you what I mean. So here is here is the now let me make sure I didn't got any questions on that. Feel free to say hi in the chat. As I was saying earlier in this video, I'd like to make this a Q&A session. But looking at the daily chart here on Bitcoin, we've got a strong downwards channel that Bitcoin's been trading in for what, about 2.5 weeks now. I mean, if you count since up here, you could arguably say that since the start of this correction, we've been trading inside this little trading range here. What we're basically, if we zoom this into an hourly chart, I kind of want to show you some different opportunities that are available here on Bitcoin. This is an hourly chart, and I guess this little uptrend here started last night around 11 o'clock my time. That's Central Standard Time here in Texas. We're trading up in this upwards channel, but we're coming back up to this reversal line. If you notice here, back in the history a little bit, this line is served as a trend reversal. So as Bitcoin came down, it went back up to test this line and then fell all the way down here. Found support on this trend line, which dragged it back up real quick. Same thing here. And then we moved up here to find resistance here again. We broke through here, and then this acted as support. So what that tells us is this is a pretty solid little reversal line, which suggests that it's going to hold as resistance as it has since we had this little correction starting on the 10th. This brought us down here. We found resistance up on this reversal line, back down here to the support on the long-term trend, and then once again found resistance here, support. And then what I think is likely to happen here in the next few hours is we're going to go up here to 2335 area, maybe even as high as 2370. And keep in mind, look at this on your own exchange, whatever you're using, whether that's Bitstamp, Bitfinex, Kraken. I'm looking at this on Poloniex as a Tether USD. So when we're talking about prices, I'm talking about these prices. However, keep in mind that the Tether USD on Poloniex is trading at 2334 right now, whereas Bitstamp is trading Bitcoin at 2359. So there is a little bit of a price difference. So just be sure when I'm saying exact prices, you're looking at the right chart that you're using rather than the one that I'm using. But regardless, what I think is likely to happen is we've probably got another nice little short opportunity here. This is probably what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to be looking for some kind of candles indicating reversal, or perhaps another. Let's see here. Let me looking at this. We've got. I'm trying to take a look at this indicator here. We got a 9 here indicating a bit of a sell. And what I would be looking for is the green 13 up here, indicating an exhaustion. Oops, didn't mean to move that trend line. But anyways, we could have a nice little short coming up here. Obviously, I'm going to be looking for the right indicators before I take this trade, but you know, we could ideally set a stop there right above, let's call it, yeah, somewhere in this area. You know, if we put it up here, put our target right down here at the bottom of this trend line. We got a nice 4.3 to 1 trade ratio there. So I mean that's a solid ratio risk to reward wise. So that's something I'm gonna be looking for here on Bitcoin. Ethereum, unfortunately, guys, we're not done. Ethereum has continued in this downwards trend for, gosh, ever. For my entire life, Ethereum has just been in this downward trend. But no, not really. But 6/28, June 28th, we started this downward trend, and it's just been going. I mean, 2 weeks, guys, 3 weeks. Like, Ethereum is not a buy anytime soon. I mean, it's like I keep seeing these little trends, these little trends trying to start. Like we've got a low here, we've got a higher low here, higher lows, higher highs. But like every time this happens, it just hits this upper trend line and breaks down. Like I don't know where the bottom is, guys. I was watching some other analysts and they were talking, you know, 160, 165. And if you look on the daily chart here, I don't think that is I really don't think that's unrealistic. Um, if you take this Fibonacci retracement, bring it all the way down here to the bottom, what you'll find is the 61.8 is right here at like 165. And we also have a strong argument area right here. And let me kind of circle it. This one here. We've got this nice strong argument area, which should provide some kind of support. We've got a support line here at 185 at the top of this, but I think we're likely to drop right around here to the 160 to 150 range with Ethereum. And we actually did get a little test of that, I think, yesterday. If you look at the low on this candle, it was 169. Ethereum did trade as low as 169 on Bitfinex yesterday. And I would be surprised to see this this trend line that I had. Hold on, let me get back to the hourly here so I can look at this a little more. But if you look at the hourly here on Ethereum, like this, where's my trend line? Ah, there we go. Perfect. But yeah, I mean, I only have this drawn on the Bitcoin, but the same trend line exists against the US dollar. We could actually draw it if we wanted to. This one right here. And we're going to clone this, bring it down here. And you've got a nice little idea of Ethereum's trend line, which is not fun. Keeping an eye on these GAN lines, we could find support here at the 185 area, but as I said before, like I see Ethereum dropping a little bit further at least until we break out of this long-term trend. I'm not bullish on Ethereum. Litecoin has had some huge moves over the past few days, despite also being hit by the correction a little bit. But we did get this nice breakout here last night. Yeah, 11 o'clock last night. We got this nice breakout from this long-term downtrend, and Litecoin is looking strong today, guys. And my short-term prospects for Litecoin are, you know, just super strong. I mean, you have to understand that Bitcoin is people are especially since all the congestion that happened in the network in the middle of June, the start of June, when the fees just got ridiculous, and all of that junk, people started turning to Litecoin as a small transactions, basically backup to Bitcoin. And that's what I see Litecoin as right now. I look at Bitcoin as kind of your long-term value holder, and Litecoin is operating as your payments, your almost your currency. And I see Litecoin uh, really going into the hundreds of dollars. I'm not going to speculate exactly on where it's going to end up. I don't have a crystal ball, but Litecoin is extremely bullish in the long term. Um, but anyways, if we were wanting to get in on this trend, let me go ahead and delete this trend line. And oh yeah, we got a nice little dip into that buy area. Of course, I didn't have an order in, but if we look at this, what we could probably do is try to find an entry here. Um, go ahead and draw it like that, and get an upper bound here. So what we're looking for is to kind of buy in on a dip here, somewhere in the bottom. And these would be a nice, I mean, this would be a nice little short-term trade. And you got to realize, guys, like I'm a day trader, a swing trader. I don't hold positions more than more than 6 hours most times, maybe 12 hours. Um, so most of the advice and whatever you want to call it, most of the analysis that I do when I'm recommending certain trades, I'm talking about it on a short-term basis, guys. Like if you're holding something for more than a few days based on something that I've said on any of my videos, chances are it's probably not valid. And keeping in mind, like you also need to be using stop losses. If we get these huge corrections like we did yesterday, where the entire board is red, um, like most of your position should have stopped out. Like you shouldn't be worried about the 20-30% losses. You should have stopped out when they lost 5%, 2%, 3%, wherever your stop is. You see, I got a stop here at 3.89%. If I were to get on Litecoin and it were to, drop 10%, like some of these things do, looking here on the market cap, just to give you an example, even on a good day, like this morning is a good day, but I bet we can find something. Yeah, there's IOTA dropped 8%. Oh man, look at this, dude. Look at all this green. This is beautiful. Well, a bad day for me to try to give examples here, I guess. 11.3% on Emmercoin. Like these currencies are volatile, and if you're not using proper stop losses, you're going to get annihilated, absolutely annihilated. Like I know a lot of people have lost a lot of money in this correction. I've talked to different traders who are down 35%, down 65%. Like, for all the poor bag holders of Ethereum, like, and I know bag holders is kind of a negative connotation, but I don't hold, and except I guess you could say I hold Bitcoin. But like I don't, at least for me, I like looking at markets. I like trading. So buy and hold for me is when I'm sitting here watching Ethereum drop from $400 to $200. You think I'm going to sit there and hold that when my capital could be used on shorting Bitcoin, or well, not shorting it, but going to cash on Bitcoin, buying back at a lower price? I ain't going to short Bitcoin. I ain't crazy. Um, but it's like, why would I sit there and hold something when I can get back into it at a lower price? It doesn't make any sense to me. But long-term investors, I get that. If you're not reading the charts, if you're not doing the technical analysis, like buy and hold is how you do it. And I'm not getting on to you guys about that. I'm just saying, like, uh, it doesn't work for me. And I'm not a buy and hold investor. I am a day trader and a swing trader, and I make all my focus on technical analysis. I don't know anything about 95% of the coins that are on there. Um, I care about only a few for long-term prospects. And honestly, I can't keep up with all the new ICOs, man. I'm not buying any ICOs. I don't want anything to do with that. I think half of them are scams. They don't have any products. Most of them don't have a real development team. So like, I don't care about any of these currencies, what they do. I care about Bitcoin. I care about Bitcoin going to $55,000, is like that article a couple of days ago said, or $100,000 or $1 million if you're Goldman Sachs and you're saying that it's going to $1 million. I don't know, but so what I care about is amassing as much Bitcoin as possible, and the way I do that is through day trading and swing trading with these other cryptocurrencies. Um, but yeah, Litecoin, if I were to be looking to get in on that, I'd be looking right around here with a stop beneath that support line and a target probably 3 to 1. We'll call it that. Boom, right there. 6% there. There's my. So I'm going to be looking for this day trade on Litecoin and Dash also. Oh wait, let me talk about Ethereum Classic. This guy broke out of its trend line. This is a big deal, guys. This Ethereum Classic has been stuck in this trend line for weeks now. Ever since the top here. And we finally got this huge candle. Huge. We're probably going to get a retracement back down to here on the support line, so that's about where I'm going to be looking to get in. If we look at this on an hourly, we can probably get a better idea of what this trend looks like. My gosh, look at that thing fly. Boy, if you'd been able to call that bottom, yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody called that bottom. But, that would have been a nice little. If you could have seen this move up and then found support here, caught that little wave, that's a 30%er, man. In what, 20 hours? Less than a day, 30%? Man. Too bad I missed that one. But yeah, I'll be looking to get into Ethereum Classic today probably. And Dash, oh, Dash, I think we've still got a little bit more retracement here. It's going to find support on this trend line, is what I think. This is just a short-term trend line. It's not going to hold. What we're likely to see is a retracement back down to this one, and then probably we're going to be moving over to, hopefully up into this area. As you can see, and I've talked about this in some of my other videos, Dash is trading in a huge, like this range is, you think that Ethereum's been stuck in a trading range for a long time. Look at Dash. It's been stuck in this trading range since April. Like, I mean, it's slowly going up, but it's still stuck in this range, guys. These red lines here, that's what Dash is trading between. So until we get a breakout from there, I'm not expecting huge moves on Dash. However, I do think the Dash will end up in the 250, 300, 350 range in the next few months. Once we get out of this trading range, this is just a long term. You could almost call it consolidation in a way. But I mean, it's moving up, so I mean, that's bullish. I've pretty much gone over most of the top coins. I mean, Ripple, like, I sold off my Ripple a few weeks ago. After holding it forever. I guess it wasn't a few weeks ago. It was maybe a week or two ago. Um, Decided that like my capital would be better used elsewhere. Um, and hopefully, if you guys are using proper stop losses, you would have got stopped out somewhere in this area before losing all of this. Ripple doesn't look good, guys. It just there's nothing. I mean, we've got support here in this prior argument area, but the real support is this blue trend line. This blue line that I drew down here. That's where the real support is, guys. And I hate to say it, but it's 6,000 satoshis. Um, I never thought that Ripple was going to drop like this. I really didn't. considering how bullish it was. But when you get a huge run like this, I mean, this thing, how high did this freaking thing go? I mean, what was it? 300% in a few days. 300% in 11 days. Less than a week, less than 2 weeks, we had a 300% move. You've got to understand the market is going to correct that. So I mean, like, we'll get there. Ripple will have another move like this, but not yet, guys. Not yet. Don't, you know, use your money better elsewhere. Monero is one of my favorite long-term picks. Um, and it was pretty strong over the past, I guess we had, what was it that, I made some pretty good money on this guy not too long ago. A few days ago, I think it was this little move here. But basically, Monero's trading in this in this upward channel, and I mean any long-term buy and hold here, even on a even on just a couple of weeks scale, you're probably looking at a profit on that. As far as Monero goes, long term, it's kind of one of my go-tos as far as long-term value holding. Um, the developers behind Monero are really great, and the goals that they have for the coin and the development that they're currently working on um, will serve to basically, Monero is the only truly private coin. Dash is not private 100%. Monero is. You can actually send and receive transactions completely anonymously with Monero. This is not something that can be replicated with any of the other, at least the popular coins. I haven't checked into the brand new stuff that's coming out in the past couple of months, but at least the big top 10, Monero is the most private, secure altcoin. And it is my belief that when Bitcoin gets mainstream adoption, that Monero will always exist as a alternative for a private Bitcoin. So that's where I'm at with Monero. I think that any long-term holdings, in fact, some of your portfolio should probably be dedicated to long-term holding of Monero, especially if you are a long-term investor. That's my 2 cents on Monero, but I could sit here and go through these coins forever and ever. We got 810 currencies today. I'm not going to go through all 810 of them, but what I like to focus on is really I'm going to be honest, guys. Like, I don't care. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I don't care about anything pretty much below this line. I care about the top 10 and a couple other big names like. The coins that I'm watching every day are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, Dash, Monero, Stratus, Zcash, Steam, and that's about it. Stellar Lumens, maybe. I'll take a look at Decred from time to time, and I know I'm missing money. I know I'm missing money on some of these coins, like Metal, 91%. But it's like, how do you keep up, But I appreciate you guys watching. Let me just double check that I haven't got any questions or anything. Nope. Please feel free to leave me stuff in the comments. Like, share this video. I'm trying to get I'm trying to build a little bit of a community of digital assets traders so we can kind of bounce ideas off of each other and really improve our technical skills so that when the next bull run comes, which is going to be sooner than later, in my opinion. It could happen this year. I mean, yeah, it'll probably happen this year, in my opinion, but it could happen as soon as or as late as December or January. So I mean, we'll see. But the point is, what we want to do is improve our technical skills. Really, just really get a strategy that we can use on a daily basis that includes How are we going to enter trades? How are we going to exit trades? What is our risk management strategy? We want to have all of this in place so that one, we can make money in the correction phase, but two, we can be fully prepared to take advantage of the next bull run. Because if you have the technical analysis and the charting skills, when the next bull run comes, you will slaughter every other trader as far as returns go. Because, like I said, it is so easy for anybody to buy a coin, wait 3 days, and sell it when we're in a bull market because everything's going up. But when we experience something like what we're experiencing right now with Bitcoin, like you have got to develop a strategy. You have got to have something that you follow emotionless and that I'm just going to leave it at that. You've got to have a strategy, guys, and that's kind of what I want to kind of convey in some of my videos is how that strategy works and what a strategy really consists of. And I mean, this video has gone on too long already, but that's something I'd like to do in the next few days, is really discuss just strategy and kind of get off these charts a little bit and talk a little bit more about how we can just improve ourselves and become better traders. Um, but I appreciate the watch. As I said earlier, please like, share this video so we can get a few more subscribers, a few more input, and subscribe to the channel. I try to do these live broadcasts at least a couple times a week. Sometimes more. And by subscribing to the channel, you can show me your support about what I'm doing, and furthermore, you'll get the live updates whenever I do go live. So we can just kind of really build a community here, guys. Really prepare ourselves for the next run so that we can all be millionaires off this stuff, man. That's what it's all about. Agorist millionaire. Like we're here to change lives, and I'm changing my life, and I want you to come with me. So thanks for watching, guys.